Level Up is a regular podcast that brings you topics to help you perform at work and in life at your very highest level. Your host is Dan Chiodo, an executive coach, corporate trainer, and author. He is president of Impact Training and Executive Coaching. And now, here's Dan.
Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate that. Level Up is a monthly podcast that helps you grow, no matter what you do and no matter what stage of life you're in. Have you always wanted to do something with your life that's fun? Well, my guest today spent 18 years in national telecommunications and another 15 years in retail development and operations. He has built, get this, over 500 wireless dealer franchise locations. So what did he do with his extensive experience, which includes staffing, training, marketing, operations, and sales? Well, he founded Dart 'em Up Development Company and R&S Games. So I want to jump right into this. I want to welcome our guest, who's always fun. I have to say that. He's the CEO, Richard McVay. Welcome, Richard.
Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Love your background. It looks like fun already. But I have to ask you something. Can a person who's led a corporate life have fun starting their own venture? Tell us about that.
Well, they can. It's just making the jump moment, as they say. I did wireless for 18 years, another 15 in retail, and found myself as far as looking at something different and new. And so me and my son love playing Nerf blasters, the Nerf battles at home. And so did a lot of research behind that, talked to mentors, and did a business plan around a family entertainment center venue as far as, on Nerf battles. And so we made the jump over 5.5 years ago. And it's all about having fun. So I have from ages 5 and up. And we have our core as far as 6 to 14-year-olds. Families come out. I just had a birthday party for 2 75-year-olds that had nothing but 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds coming out doing old-fashioned Nerf battles. How great is that?
That is wonderful. Wonderful. You said make the jump twice there, and I like that term. I want to take you back to when you made the jump. Do you remember that day that you decided, okay, I'm going to do this?
I do, distinctly. I was working for Cricket Wireless, and they got bought by AT&T. And so I took the package because they moved locations for the corporate office. And so I was looking at different options of what to do. And when I had did some research, looking at owning my own business and looking at different franchises, I started coming up with the idea of as far as this Nerf battle thing that me and my son love playing. And so did the research, and I had an opportunity from another company with an offer, or I go the route of doing my own business. Mm-hmm. So I was out on the porch of a friend, and I'm just talking to the good Lord above. And, is this the right thing to do? Do I need to, go back in corporate world, or can I do this? And it was a sunny day, and I'll never forget, a butterfly just kind of flew by. And that was a sign, because my mom had passed away about 9 years ago, and she loved butterflies. So it was a sign as far as, let's do this. Let's make this jump. Steve Harvey had, I seen a promo or a clip from him to where, going into business on your own, a lot of people make that decision, yeah, I'm going to do it. But you get to the edge and you look over that cliff, and some people are like, I don't think so. You either jump or you don't. And I decided to jump, and it's been the best decision ever.
I love that. That is so good for our viewers to think about, because some of them may be thinking about, should I or shouldn't I? And the same thing happened in my career, and I remember that day too. So that is a really special moment. Do you feel like the things you did in the corporate world, you were very successful there. Do you feel like those things prepared you for what you are doing now?
Oh, absolutely. I think my background and experience as far as building stores, staffing, managing that, learning as far as the budgeting aspect of things and what it really takes behind the scenes to run your own company makes a big difference. A lot of people in the family entertainment center, of owning their own business, a lot of them maybe had worked for a family entertainment center or, from the outside doesn't have the management experience, doesn't have as far as from a budgeting standpoint. Or staffing or dealing with real estate. And I had all those tools behind me to make that decision a lot easier to make that jump.
That's good. That is good. So you were promoted many times in your career. So I think another question I'd like to ask you is, what do you think your superpower was, the thing that made them notice you?
A lot of people ask me that. I think the core thing is a positive attitude. And yes, I can to get things done. Not a yes person, but someone that takes initiative to take care of the issues at hand. And so having a positive attitude, a positive outlook on life and at work goes a long way. There's a lot of motivational speakers. And I think the bottom line is, you choose to what direction you want to go. You have choices. And I choose to stay positive. I fight to be positive, and don't let the little things get in the way. Yeah, and dwell on it. I just keep moving forward.
That is good. That is good. So now tell us a little more about your organization, who it serves, what it does.
Well, we are a family entertainment center specializing basically in old-fashioned Nerf battles. It's like paintball, but a lot softer. Laser tag, you go in and it's all about the individual point system. But with us, we are creating an experience. So basically, I have two large arenas. I have bunkers in there. And inside the arenas, I have a DJ rep that's up top. And they are like the master of ceremonies. We are entertainers. I have floor referees on the floor. They help as far as making sure that the customers are having fun. The games change up every 3 to 5 minutes. So it's constantly going. And it's very organized chaos, as I call it. So we have over 9,000 darts in each arena. I have over 700 blasters. There's about 40 different kinds of blasters to utilize. We also have concessions. We also have arcades, and more to come on that here in just one moment. So we have really perfected as far as good old-fashioned entertainment. We want to create those memories for those families, for those birthday parties, for those kids. And they are the ones that are marketing for me, word of mouth, because they had a great time. We're not doing brain surgery here. We keep it simple. We keep it clean. We keep it fun.
That's perfect. That is perfect. And off stage, you and I were talking about how young people keep you young. Sometimes if you're an educator, you're with young people all the time and in certain fields. So yours is that way too. Talk a little bit about that. How do they keep you young?
I think when you look at young people, as far as, my core 6 to 14-year-olds, and really listen to them, they have great ideas. There's no filters. They come up with the best ideas, the best games that we have incorporated in our arenas, and that's amazing. If you take the time to just listen to them, they have things to say instead of telling what they should not do or what they should do, but actually listen and just have some fun. And so it makes a big difference with my team. It's all about my team. They are Dart 'em up. And so I make sure that they give them the simple tools a positive attitude, good people skills, and help take initiative. That's all I ask for, the values of our company. So it goes a long way with our customers to make it fun. And so with the youngsters and everything, their energy level is on high. So let's say a Saturday, I got like 18 birthday parties that are going to happen. I wake up that morning, it's like, man, it's somebody's birthday today. Remember that feeling when you were young and it was your birthday? You've told your friends, all about it the whole week. You are pumped up. Well, if I don't get up to the same level as those young kids as far as their birthday party, well, shame on me, because it's all about creating fun.
That's right. And that should be your motto. You're always creating fun. I love that. And I think, too, that so many times you'll hear people say things about young people, negative things sometimes. And I don't like that. I think that there is so much in these generations coming up, and you're tapping into that, especially to help them have a good time. I think that is great. So let's talk about adults. Sounds like they enjoy your place too, right?
They do. It's kind of a nostalgia, experience, because everyone grew up around, Nerf blasters pretty much, just to have the old fashioned fun that you grew up on in games like, freeze tag or capture the flag, medic, so those little things are incorporated in the games. And so the adults love it because they don't have to think. They just, all of a sudden you see them turn into this kid again, just to have unrelented fun, to where it's like, oh my goodness, it's like kickball. It's like dodgeball, because, we're doing glow dodgeball too. And so we have a different philosophy. We're just creating a fun playground. And so that's what the adults, they come out, and it's amazing to see grandparents in there at birthday parties going, oh my goodness, that was fantastic. Thank you.
That's great. And, I listened to a shortcast this morning, and it was talking about the fact that sometimes we erase the fun. We had it when we were younger. Then we go to the university and study, and we're set on making sure we learn whatever it is we're doing, and then get into business. And somewhere along the line, occasionally we forget to have fun. So you're kind of bringing that back. I think that's wonderful.
Thanks.
Do you also work with teams and corporations or organizations?
We do. We do. We do a lot of team building, or starting to get back to team building after this pandemic, to where they can just take a break, and create that fun with their teammates, because they've all been locked up. They've all been working from afar. And so we do a lot of team events, corporate events as well. We do a lot of fundraising events for different charities. That is one of the core things when me and my son, Sean, were building this place. We want to make sure that we're part of this community. And so for the birthday parties, I asked Sean, I go, what do you want to do to pay it forward? How do you want to help the community? And he loves helping kids. And so what we decided, for every 10 birthday parties that we do, we give one away to help kids in need and homeless kids. So we teamed up with 3 organizations here in the Austin, Central Texas area: Texas Baptist Children's Home, CASA for foster kids, and then Mission Possible that helps underprivileged kids. And so it's been a joy to be able to give back to the community. We have given away already, I think, over 300 birthday parties. And so that makes a big difference. And I think that's core to any business, is being part of the community.
You answered one of my questions, because you and I met at a March of Dimes event, and we're on that board and worked so hard to help that organization. So I was going to ask you if that continues, and I'm so glad that it does.
It does. Go ahead.
I want to talk more about that and the pandemic on the flip side. But right now, it's time to take a break. My guest today is Richard McVay. He is the founder and CEO of Dart 'em Up Development Company and R&S Games. This is Dan Chiodo, your host. We'll be right back after this message from a sponsor.
One of the issues that we face today is that we are so busy and distracted that we don't take responsibility for what we think about. In fact, many believe that they can't control their thinking at all. Not true. You have the power to control your thoughts. And since your actions are controlled by your thoughts, you can determine your actions, which ultimately affect your results in life. Mind walking is a daily 15-minute exercise where you practice thinking on purpose while you walk. Just walk and listen as success coach Bill Mansell guides you through the mind walking exercises. In just 15 minutes a day, you'll learn how to get your mind's attention and then focus your thoughts toward what's right in your life now and what you want to create in your future. You'll be able to clearly visualize how it will feel when you've accomplished your most important goals. Then, throughout the day, no matter how stressful the situation, no matter how negative the thoughts that invade your mind, you will know how to immediately take charge of your thinking to create the life that you really want. Visit mindperk.com and search for Bill Mansell to learn more and to purchase the Mind Walking program.
Hey, you're back. I'm Dan Chiodo, your host. My guest today is Richard McVay. He is the founder and CEO of Dart 'em Up Development Company and R&S Games. So, Richard, you've listed several philanthropic organizations that you try to help, and your son, Sean, really wants to help young people. This is so wonderful. I bet they really appreciate that. Is that what you find?
They really do. It's something unique that they haven't been offered before with each of these organizations. And so they really do appreciate that. Let me tell you one story real quick from Texas Baptist Children's Home. They had a birthday party, and they're just regular birthday parties. We don't make a big deal out of anything and no photos, anything like that. But there was a 17-year-old young man that was having a birthday party from there. Bright young man, football player, running back from one of the high schools. And afterwards, after the party, he came up to me in tears and he goes, Richard, I just want to thank you, for having this birthday party for me. He goes, you don't understand how wonderful this is. I was dropped off at 5 years old at the Baptist Children's Home. And this is my first real birthday party. And so to be able to pay it forward like that and not knowing as far as, what we have touched someone's heart about makes all the world in the difference. So I love that. What we're doing for the community. The community loves what we're doing. They even appreciate it even more when they know that they're having the birthday party at our place, that they're helping giving back.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that you did face the pandemic after you opened your business, and then that occurred. And certainly you would be a business that is not necessarily seen as a necessity at that time. But tell me what that was like. How did you get through that? Not every business did. You're
right. They didn't, and my heart goes out to them. In the industry alone, I think about 35 to 40% of family entertainment centers closed down for good. And so you go through all kinds of emotions. You're nothing like this prepared anybody for this pandemic at all. There's no business books written about it. You go through the emotions of panic to crying to the unknown. I think my faith grew stronger because of things that you want to control are not, in control. You have to let it go. And so I fought. My true grit really, came alive to stay positive. And I tell people I fought to be positive each and every day because it was so easy to just give up and be negative. We had some help along the way. We got a grant from one of the Williamson County, and then the idle at the time, we got a small amount, but that went quickly. People don't realize it. We were closed down for 3 months. We opened up, and then we had to close back down for another month and a half. And so at one point, it's like, it was looking like, okay, we're going to have to close permanently. But I wasn't going to give up. I started a GoFundMe page. The community really embraced us that we have been serving. My customers, our customers really stepped up. They were checking in on us. They helped with the GoFundMe page. My church helped out. That helped me get through one more month, then another month. And we just kept on scrapping. I came up with different ideas. You could have the whole place for 2 hours for like $400. So those little things helped along the way. I started a mobile unit business, which I hadn't before. So I'd be going out to people's houses and yards as far as to set up a mobile unit, would dart them up. So whatever it took, we just kept on fighting to be positive. There's a quote in my office here. It says, "Embrace the struggle, love the journey, and choose to be happy." I've seen that quote so many times. I put it on there, but during the pandemic is where it really hit home that I needed to embrace this struggle. I needed to love the journey because it was unique and different. And so I chose to be happy. I chose to be positive during this and make sure that I reached out to mentors, to friends, to customers to keep me going. I listened to John Gordon and his podcast and all his positive motivational speakers along the way. I started writing down every motivational quote I could, put it on Post-it notes at my home. I got Post-it notes on this big old wall just to remind me that it's okay to let it go. God's in control, and to keep moving forward. And that's what we did to get through this and get to the other side.
Well, I'm sure that positivism that you always have really helped, because if you can just keep pushing forward, you will get there.
Right.
And you did. You didn't let go.
I didn't. And you got to be realistic about things, and you got to be straight up with yourself. We had bankruptcy on the table. I made that crucial call to a lawyer on not knowing what bankruptcy was and what that cost would be. So I made sure that I had everything on the table and was prepared one way or the other, going, okay, worst case scenario, we bankrupt, then what, Lord? Look for another job, get back going, because there are people, far worse than what we were going through. Of not having food or a home. I had that. And so very blessed and grateful throughout this whole thing. And on the other side of it, I'm even more blessed and grateful.
That's great. Well, you saw that butterfly to start the business, and you were probably so busy you didn't recognize another one flying there for your mom saying you're going to make it, because you did. That's great. That's great. Well, let's talk about what's next. Anything that you're planning that you might want to talk about?
I do. It's one of those things that, literally the first year and a half of the pandemic was in survival mode. The last 6 months, I guess around July when the another outbreak, came out, the Delta strand, I had to get with the landlord to see about renewing my lease, which was up in December. And he was asking, are you going to renew? And I said, I still don't know. I was able to start planning a little bit better, for the future. It's like, we're going to get through this. And so the best thing is that we expanded. They had a space next door, and re-looked at my plan of action. And so we are expanding to a larger arcade and a redemption center, which is a prize center, and redid the look of the place, because really we had to do a reboot, a restart in a sense from this pandemic. But I knew that people were going to be coming out to create some memories and wanted to be there for that. And now they're starting to come out in groves, birthday parties, team building, all that's coming into play, which is fantastic because you lose 2 years basically of branding with any company from this pandemic. And so I'm excited that we're going to be doing this expansion. This is going to be the first weekend of May that I'll reintroduce as far as Dart 'em Up. And really a thank you campaign to really our customers and this community for helping us get through this. And so we're going to have a little celebration going on, which is great.
That's wonderful. I saw a quote this morning. I think it was from Will Rogers, and it talks about spend less time thinking about yesterday and keep your mind on today. But to hear you talk, and I'm sure you were as positive as you could be during that pandemic, but I love to hear the positivism and the actions you're taking for the future now. That's wonderful.
Thanks. I love that quote, by the way. There's another quote, and I don't think it was a quote, but it was in a book, one of many leadership books that I read. But it said, yesterday ended at midnight. Concentrate on today.
Very true. That's so true.
So I just keep moving forward. Yeah.
You know, you are one of the finest leaders I know, and some of our viewers are young people looking toward leadership, whether they should or not. And in fact, I have some clients that will sometimes say, you know, I'm not sure if I could be a leader or not. Any message you want to give them about leadership if they're thinking about it?
Yeah, I think you need to, make sure that, don't quit on your dreams. Utilize resources. Utilize your friends, your family, mentors. I've learned to lean on Small Business Administration, SBA, the Chamber of Commerce, other small business leaders. I went out to other small businesses during the pandemic and introduced myself. And I did some Facebook posts about their business. You got to take the ego out, and you got to be humble from the standpoint that you can't do it all yourself. Utilize your resources and just stay positive. Don't quit on your dreams, because that's a key thing. For those during the pandemic, there was that negativity creeped in. I'm just saying, fight to be positive. You can do this. You really can, and make it happen.
I think saying take the ego out is very important. And also earlier when you were talking about how excited you get for people having experiences that you can kind of live that with them. And that makes for some wonderful things. Really.
Yeah.
Really.
I think it's sharing those experiences and be open about it. Because sometimes we can be guarded with what we want to say or, about our business. But I find that when I talk more about my business and the issues, I do have problems. I do have issues. I have, a multitude of things that need to be fixed. It's okay. Share that, because the wisdom from other people, you never know where it comes from.
That's right. Richard, thank you so much for being our guest today. Can't thank you enough. Wonderful information and insight that you gave us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan, so much for inviting me on your Level Up podcast. I'm truly excited and blessed to have you as a friend and having this platform talk about our business at Dart 'em Up, where you just have fun today.
You bet. You bet. I'm on the edge of my seat. So this has been really fun. And to our viewers too, we thank you. Take a look at the show notes. They're going to be available at the end of this episode. And be sure to come to the next Level Up. We're going to save a front row seat for you. Dustin, I think this is a wrap. Cheers.
If you feel like this information was valuable to you, Dan would love it if you'd click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or thoughts about today's episode, please leave a comment. Also, if you're a first-time subscriber, be sure to ring that bell to be notified about future episodes. To learn more about what Impact Training and Development can do for you and your business, visit impactbydan.com, where you can find more information about executive coaching, corporate training, keynote speaking, and much more. Thanks so much for watching.